Welcome, my friends. Christmas has come early to Marvel Snap. Our next patch is going to be the largest one that we have ever received. The devs have broken it down here in the video. We are receiving the collector tokens. We will be able to pick specific cards to add them to our collection. They're also dropping a slew of new cards. We have 16, 17 new cards to be able to break down and a couple shiny stones. That's right, Thanos is confirmed coming in the next patch. This is going to be your one-stop shop for everything that we know about collector tokens and how best to prepare for when it releases to be able to add these new powerful and ultra rare cards to your collection. They have the explainer video here from the devs we're going to break down. I'm also in the Discord, the FAQs, they've been clarifying there, and they had an extended blog post on their website. There's all links to my sources down in the description, but we're going to share everything that you need to know starting now.
And so, we looked up and saw the stars, wondering what secrets their beauty was hiding.
Silver Surfer is coming next patch. He's going to be the headline of the battle pass.
We dared to touch the heavens.
Oh, they've got the duck in the collector on his arm.
To walk on their world.
Somebody will have to tell me.
What else was out there?
I don't know any of these locations based on the snapshots.
Looking up at us.
Oh, all right, our first glimpse into the gameplay. So we have new art for Moon Girl here. Now, legendary skins or legendary variant artwork is going to also be incorporated into the token shop. I'm anticipating that this previously unseen Moon Girl could be one of those. We have Maria Hill, brand new card here. We don't see her cost here, 3 power. None of these locations are revealing anything about the next patch. The new artwork for the collector as well. We're going to break down Maria Hill as we talk about all the cards in the more advanced, ultra rare series towards the end of the video. There's a Silver Surfer, he hits the board. Again, nothing new on the different locations. We do see some incredible variant art. I mean, look at Ironheart and Wolfsbane here. Oh my goodness. And now this animation on Silver Surfer. I love it.
The Power Cosmic, brand new season coming soon to Marvel Snap. Thank you so much for playing Marvel Snap. We've had such an incredible launch. It's only been a little over a month, but it's been so much fun. This video's got a ton of new stuff. It's got the token shop, it's got a ton of new cards, and we've got a special surprise from our community manager, Richie. Let's get into it. The Power Cosmic is Marvel Snap's best season yet. We've got some new variants. The Infinite and the Collector both have incredible variants, but there's a brand new card.
No, it's interesting. The collector variant, okay, this is probably detracting from the highlight of the video.
The collector both have,
but the art that we saw of him on the board did not have the little cages. I'm curious if that was like we saw an earlier screen or if you have to upgrade to a certain level to be able to get those on the card.
Incredible variants, but there's a brand new card, and I think you're gonna love it. And here's our art manager, Johnny, to tell you all about this new character.
I'm so excited to finally get a chance to show off my favorite Marvel character, the character that I'm most excited to see in Marvel Snap, the Silver Surfer, the Sentinel.
Yay,
The Space Waste is finally here. He's going to be playable in Marvel Snap.
And what does Silver Surfer do?
So he's a 3/0. He has an on-reveal ability. Grants your other 3 cost cards plus 3 power.
Oh my goodness. This, my friends, is a card. Is insane. He's a discounted Spectrum. Be able to buff not just the ongoing cards, but buffing your 3 cost cards. Now, it's going to be very important for us to test and understand if he is caring about the card's base cost or if he is caring about the card's current cost. That changes a number of shenanigans, let's say, that could happen around him. And the game currently is very inconsistent on when this is applied. Things like Goose care about cards' current cost. Things like Falcon care about cards' base cost. I'm going to assume, it's very dangerous to assume, I'm going to assume that he's going to care about cards' base cost. And oh my goodness, pop him in with the Wong Odin. That list already wanted to run a number of 3 cost cards. Play him alongside Sarah, where you're able to run just a number of other 3 drops. He's going to be providing insane tempo swings. And here's the thing. Cosmo is just running the meta right now. It's Cosmo's world, and we're just living in it. And this is now going to be a tool for the deck that is opposed to Cosmo, or that Cosmo is countering. And just by elevating that, you're also elevating the priority of Cosmo, and I feel like we're just going to see, it's going to mean that you have to run Cosmo now to be able to shut up the unrevealed decks.
And what cards do you like to play with Silver Surfer?
So he's obviously really great with Brood, so he's going to give those up.
Oh, yes, the Brood, very important to add in as well. Generating a number of, because when the Brood copies, the Broodlings are also considered 3-cost cards.
Broodlings plus 3 power. He's great with Wong for that double on reveal, and
All right,
phenomenal
they
again
hit
with
all the
Odin,
high
so you get
points.
that really massive turn 6 power spike.
Yeah, I like
Oh, is that a 56 power? Well, it's also on Kamartash.
play Silver Surfer with Bishop and Ironheart because they both cost 3. He's great with. You got to go through your collection, look at all your 3-cost cards, and figure out which ones you're going to play with the Silver Surfer.
All right, let's do one more shout out of the deck tech for the Silver Surfer. Theory, craft your list now. Take me back. Play him with Mr. Negative. If he cares about cards base cost, Mr. Negative already enjoys running some other 3-cost cards. Silver Surfer will be able to come out as a free card if he gets inverted by the Mr. Negative. Run him with that Mr. Negative zeros list that was playing the Mighty Thor. The Jane Foster pulls all your zeros into hand. You then vomit them out to the board on turn 6 for just an enormous swing that the opponent has no chance to be able to stop. That's my final tip, is that this is a boon, not just to the Wong Odin list, but also the Mr. Negative.
You love Silver Surfer.
Love him.
Do you have like a tattoo?
I have a tattoo.
Can we see the tattoo?
I would love to show it. A tribute to the best Herald of Galactus.
Wow! Oh my
Actually, that's
goodness.
pretty sicking.
You're just gonna make Silver Surfer decks, and that's it, right? That's
Non-stop Silver Surfer decks. We need to up the deck limit because it's going to be non-stop Silver Surfer. There's no other variants planned. They're all canceled. It's just going to be non-stop Silver Surfer art from now on.
Thanks for
heard it
telling
here,
us
guys.
about Silver Surfer, Johnny. It's been awesome to have you.
It's been my pleasure. I love being here, and I cannot wait to finally play as the Silver Surfer and to see how our fans play with him.
Man, I do just honestly love that all the devs seem to be so passionate about the game. They all genuinely do just adore these characters and the game.
Just before launch, we shared our development roadmap, which talked about what we were planning on doing in the short, medium, and long term. And we've done a ton of the things on that list already.
Coming soon, global mobile launch, yes, PC early access, sure. Localization, yep, welcome bundle, that technically happened. Reward delivery, still broken for PC. Inbox system also feels like it's broken in PC. Variant rarity system did come in, titles came in. We're looking for that PC widescreen when. Collector tokens, battle mode versus friends, and the unranked mode are the ones that are on the immediate future.
A lot more to do there, and we're sharing an updated version of that roadmap in December. But now I want to talk about what's coming next patch.
Here we go. The token chop.
Since the beginning, players have been asking us for ways to target specific cards they
Yes.
really want for their deck.
Yes.
And we are adding the token shop.
All right, this is our very first glimpse. It'll all get broken down. You see how long you have until the card rotates away. You can pin something. If you see that exact card you want, you pin it to be able to make sure that you can save up the tokens to have it. This shows how many tokens you have. They're going to start you with a shot in the arm of tokens to be able to get you started, costing 1,000 tokens for a Series 3. This will be more expensive for the rarer Series 4 and Series 5, and then these will rotate through. It also has a memory of when it has shown you cards from specific series. So this person is not going, if they choose not to purchase Venom right now, they will not see Venom again in this token shop until they have seen every other Series 3 card that they do not currently own. It's only going to be showing you cards that you do not currently own.
Which will be a great way to target exactly what you want. Right now, in Marvel Snap, there's 3 card series. A lot of players call them pools, but we call them series. They're
Yeah, this is the first time that the developers themselves are saying series in-game. Otherwise, it had all been third-party data mining and discussion, which is why players have been calling it pools, because the devs haven't really hit us with how they wanted it to be called. I guess it's going to take some getting used to start calling it series instead of pools, but I suppose we're going to have to go that way.
Bunch of cards that are organized. You have to get all the cards in Series 1 before you get any of the cards in Series 2. You have to get all the cards in Series 2 before you get any of the cards in Series 3. And Series 3 is humongous. And a lot of players get frustrated when they get there because they really want one card from Series 3 for that one deck. And it's so big, it's very hard to tell when you're going to get that card. Our solution to this is the token shop. Starting at collection level 500, you'll start to earn collector's tokens. And you can take those tokens over to the token shop, which rotates every 8 hours with a card that you don't have from Series 3. And when you see that card, you can spend collector's tokens to buy it directly. If you don't have the tokens yet, it's okay. You can pin the card and it'll wait there for you until you do have enough tokens to buy it. We think players are gonna love how this speeds up the process of collecting and gives them a little bit more agency to get the cards they want.
I mean, yeah, this is going to be wonderful for actually, you can now complete your meta lists. You have a couple pieces, say you have every destruction card, but you don't have wave or you don't have death. Then you can't build death wave. Your version of death, the death wave that you have at home is going to look like the meme compared to what people are running if you don't have everything. So being able to target that specific card, I'm really looking forward to how this is going to play out.
As players start to earn all the cards in Series 3, we want to make sure that we're giving players more goals and more awesome stuff to collect. And so with the release of Token Shop, we're also introducing a slew of new cards, Series 4 and Series 5. Now, Series 4 is super rare, but you don't have to have all of the Series 3 cards in order to start earning Series 4 cards. You can earn them at any time. And if there's one that you really want, you can buy it in the Token Shop. Series 5 is 10 times more rare than Series 4. These are some of the rare.
And to be clear, Series 4 is 10 times more rare than Series 3. So the odds of just pulling a native Series 5 card out of a collector's cache, I believe, is 1 in 400. So it's insane.
Rarest cards in the game like Thanos and Galactus. Series 4 has 10 new cards and Series 5 has 6 new cards, and the cards are...
Oh, okay, here we go. We're going to have a huge breakdown. He's going to rattle them off. We'll do a quick discussion here. They have already been leaked. You've probably seen them elsewhere. The hand bend road, the tablet. All right. Let's take a look at the new toys that we are going to be presented with. Take these captions off. All right. Luke Cage, a 2-1 ongoing. Your cards can't have their powers reduced. This makes Hazmat meta. Hazmat I already enjoyed. I had a list that plays out a bit as a meme list, but really I have had success being able to climb with it. Luke Cage will slot in so beautifully. Beware what Hazmat is going to be able to do with this new addition. Absorbing Man, 4/3 on reveal. If the last card you played has an on reveal ability, this card copies it. He is the mystique of the on reveal list. A lot of people have been really looking forward to how you can play this out. I don't know how pivotal he is really going to be. He's going to add a level of consistency to the Wong Odin deck archetype, but I'm not sure that he's going to be all that in a bag of chips. At 4/3, the stat line, a lot of these cards with on-reveal abilities actually do care about the stat line, like, say, being able to double their stat line, as we've seen with Black Panther. He doesn't have a stat line that is super desirable to be doubled. It is going to be... let me know in the comments, maybe there are some incredible combos that I'm just not thinking of. I feel like if you're playing him on tempo, he's copying a 3-cost ability. And I don't think of any 3-cost abilities that I would really want to bend over backwards to be able to duplicate. Now, better than that is being able to play him on turn 6 and then copy a 5-power ability. But if you are really building a deck around copying some pivotal 5-power or 5-cost abilities, then you're probably also playing Wong and Odin, and I feel like just playing Odin to reactivate an entire stack or playing Wong to get that card to trigger twice rather than Absorbing Man is better. Like I said, he's going to add some consistency to that list. We'll have to see how it really shakes out. She-Hulk at a 6/10 stat line. Costs 1 less reach on spent energy last turn. They've been tinkering around a lot with She-Hulk, as we've seen in a variety of different data mines. The 6/10, so she obviously marries up with Sunspot. You pass, you put power on the Sunspot, then you play a very energy efficient She-Hulk. At 10 strength, she is incredible. Now, in a normal course of play, she doesn't mesh with the Infinite. If you do the full pass on turn 5, she's going to be 1 cost, and then the Infinite is 6 cost. If you play Magic on turn 5, you'll be able to full pass on turn 6, and then have a free She-Hulk plus the Infinite for 30 points hitting the board on turn 7. That could be pretty wild. I'm interested to see where she slots in, but really she just seems like a very efficient card overall. If we think that if we start at the position of tempo is 1 energy per 2 power, then we need to discount her by 1 to meet tempo, and any discounts below that is just a bonus. So if you can pass just a single energy, 2 energy, and then you play her as a 4/10, a 3/10, the 5/10 is still acceptable. You just don't want to be caught playing her for the 6/10.
Maria Hill.
Titania. All right, a 1/5. Titania is a minigame in and of herself. When any card is played at this location, this card switches sides. So she keeps on swapping between who controls her. Hopefully she has an incredible animation as she's swinging back and forth, and then there could be 2 very good reasons here to be playing her. I think that, I don't know if she's going to be worth the headache. The 1/5 stat line is excellent, but it could just as easily end up being on your opponent's side as on yours if you are playing her on tempo. You're going to be looking for ways that you can guarantee that she stays on your side of the board. If you play her late, when the opponent has already finished off their location, then you just get the guaranteed benefit of her stat line. She could be great pairing up with Dr. Octopus on turn 6. They both fit. Dr. Octopus ensures the opponent's side of the board is filled, and then Titania plays alongside. You've played 6 energy for 15 power. That's a pretty good trade. It could be very interesting in the have some crap control archetype where you're already choking off a lot of the opponent's space to try and make sure that Titania is going to end up on your side of the board. Now we're looking at Maria Hill. On reveal, add a random 1 cost to your hand. So Maria Hill was spoiled earlier in the video, 2/3. And we have Agent Coulson right behind. Let's go ahead and discuss him as well. 3/4 on reveal, add a random 4 cost and 5 cost to your hand. The agents, of course, following in the mold of Nick Fury as their captain and pairing up very well with Quinjet as their engine piece, discounting these cards. So they're creating random cards. Random cards will not have good synergy with what you want to play most of the time, and thus are going to be worse than whatever you could naturally place into your deck. But the Quinjet making them 1 energy cheaper means that there is still a level of viability of just playing the random junk at just the cheaper price point to be able to overwhelm your opponent. They also pair well with the Collector, able to buff him every single time they play down, buff the Devil Dinosaur by having a very large hand size. It's still missing something, and we're going to see the Helicarrier in a second here. Actually, is that one next? It is next. Okay. The Helicarrier is the big disappointment of the list. A 6/10 Helicarrier. When you discard this from your hand, add 3 random cards to your hand. I don't get it. Helicarrier seems terrible. What I'm looking for to make this a viable list is a card that is then going to buff the power of cards that have been or cards that did not start in your deck, I suppose would be the wording that I would like to see. And I wanted Helicarrier to be the finisher. To do it instead, Helicarrier is out here in left field. Why am I playing Helicarrier? In what world do you want this? When you discard this from your hand, add 3 random cards to your hand? When am I playing a discard list that I want to have extra random junk in my hand? A discard list wants to very carefully curate the cards that they have so that they're getting their discard effects on specific engine pieces, not the Helicarrier. Sure, you could play it with Hela and then you don't run out of steam in terms of cards in your hand. But again, Hela is also playing with a lot of other very powerful cards that you want to be discarded so that she is coming to board with this huge power swing. You don't want 3 random cards in hand choking up your options. Don't play Helicarrier is what I'm trying to say. And tragically, we have Umbaku. Don't play Umbaku either. 1/2, if this is in your deck at the end of the game, it jumps to a random location. Guys, this is so bad. The community has already decided that Angel is bad. He's been cut from most of the self-discard or self-destruction lists as soon as you have a wider variety of destruction synergies, and Umbaku is just going to be worse. The decks are so small and so consistent here in Snap that it's going to be a very rare case where you actually get him for free, and then when you're getting him for free, he's only 2 points to a random location. It's very weak. I don't see him fitting in. Now, if you had a way to be able to hold him in deck, or move him from hand to deck, or move him from board to deck, and be able to develop some synergies there, I would be interested. I feel like this could be the beginnings of a new deck archetype that would be really fun if you had something that was like, target other card at your location goes to deck, and then this card that you just played gains that card's power, and then Umbaku comes back for free, and you build like a number. You would have to have a whole set of new cards released that all synergize with this idea of moving cards back into deck and gaining benefits from that, and then bringing them back for free at the end of the game randomly. It could be very fun. Right now, there's no support for it.
Orca back!
Atuma. Oh no, go back. Okay, we got the Atuma. For 10, if you have another card here at the end of your turn, destroy this. So this is the inflexible Namor. He is just as big at 410 if he is solo at the location, but whereas Namor, when you play another card there, he just loses 5 power. Atuma dies. And the opponent has a number of ways to be able to afflict this destruction with debris, the goblins. These are very popular cards right now in the meta. So Atuma, it's going to be hard to be able to work him in. The thing is that he does work with Professor X. Professor X will play in. His effect will take hold first, preventing the Atuma from dying. And then you're going to have 13 strength in a lockdown lane. I mean, that could certainly be a viable choice. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up slotting in, if people like this, playing alongside Professor X, because right now, Professor X plays more with a ramp deck where you surprise the opponent on turn 4, just someplace where they haven't played at all, or there's also other cards that we've seen that are data mined that are able to lend strength to a location without being a body there. I think Atuma could have a place in a couple different decks.
Bast!
All right, Orca, 6/9 ongoing, +5 power if this is your only card here. So this is Namor, but at the 6 cost price point. He would be a 6 cost, 14 power, so he's Giganto. But instead of the play restriction of having to play to the left, he has the play restriction of having to be solo at the location. It's going to be really interesting to see. All the fish people only want to play alone, or all the underwater dwellers only want to play alone at the location. They don't work well on teams. I'm going to be very interested to seeing how this ends up playing out, if there is a deck that's going to enjoy playing these guys. The problem with consolidating all your power at a location into a single huge card is that Shang-Chi then cleans your clock. Now, of course, the Orca playing in at turn 6 is going to be able to do fairly well at dodging the Shang-Chi. I think he also has a place as a big finisher. It's going to be a little telegraphed once people get used to the deck of seeing an empty location that Orca will be landing there. So we'll have to wait and see on this. I'm not over the moon about Orca or about Atuna. Bast, 1/1 on reveal, set the power of all cards in your hand to 3. Oh my goodness. So Cerebro 3s is here to stay. It was already the most competitive Cerebro list because it has all of the location fixing cards that are able to level out the power curve of all of your deck. Now, you can run Bast to be able to bring in some cheaper cards that you potentially wanted to incorporate their effects, like the Storm will be very interesting. It is also just going to be able to provide a upgrade to things like Iron Man, Cerebro, and Mystique, so that they are actually gaining the benefit of the Cerebro buffs, which they hadn't before. Wow, Bast is going to be incredibly interesting. Also, Mr. Negative is going to be happy to see Bast turning himself from a -1 to a 3. He's going to be almost at his old dominant self. And if she lands a buff on, say that you actually had your Iron Man in hand, say you had your Iron Heart in hand, say you had your Mystique in hand, they are all going to get buffed as well. So any deck that likes running a lot of the zeros is going to be happy to see Bast. I'm going to be very excited to see if she elevates these decks like Cerebro, and especially the Mr. Negative. I'm very worried about Mr. Negative after the dominance that he had for a season there, if she's going to take him back to the top. All right, Shuri, 4/2. Love seeing Shuri. And I like her card as well. On reveal, double the power of the next card that you play. Obviously, the perfect little sister for Black Panther. You play her on 4, then you play Panther on 5, playing on curve here. I think that she is going to add a level of consistency to the hand buff Panther archetype. This way, if you don't draw the Wong, you will still be able to have a giant Panther. And Shuri has the added flexibility of being able to play to a separate location, and then you can play your Panther anywhere. Follow up with the Zola afterward. That deck is already seen as towards the top of the meta, very powerful on reveal list, and Shuri is just going to make it better. I think also with her synergy that she's potentially going to bring to Brood, potentially going to bring to just a list where you're playing, I mean, you could play this in Infinite as well. Play her as your final card on turn 4. Now, this is if you've been able to build up a lot of tempo prior. You kind of need that full 4 slot in the Jess Jones to make sure you're out-tempoing your opponent right now. But if there is a way to do it, you could be seeing a 40-point Infinite. That's overkill, right? That's insane. Anyway, it would be funny to try. I think that Shuri is going to be very fun to add into a number of lists. Okay, Thanos, he's going to get his whole own breakdown because we have to talk about the Infinity Stones as well. Galactus here, 6/3 on reveal. If this is your only card here, destroy all other locations. Oh, I am not looking forward to seeing Galactus enter the meta. People are going to build lists where you cheat him out with Wave, so he plays to the board on turn 4, and then they have their deck styled around being able to win a single location from there. It just seems like it's going to put the whole game on its head. It's going to be incredibly annoying. I don't know how competitive it really is going to be, but just the fact that it is going to be annoying means that there's going to be a subset of players that are going to have to play it, and yeah. I'm not very hyped for the Galactus, but his animation, you know what, maybe seeing his animation a little bit more often is going to be worth it.
Valkyrie and Super.
Oh, baby. Now, Valkyrie, 5/3 on reveal. Set all cards at this location to 3 power. Cerebro 3s? Is Ben Brode's favorite list actually Cerebro 3s? Valkyrie looks incredibly interesting. I don't know if her final home is actually going to be elevating Cerebro 3s to any kind of meta list, because Cerebro 3s just dies if it doesn't actually draw Cerebro, and you don't want a competitive list to live and die on a single card. Valkyrie is going to be an amazing control piece, though. She can flip negative power cards. Say the opponent played a goblin on you. Suddenly that goblin is actually a benefit for you. Say they played a big body. She's going to tone them down to just 3 strength, which is amazing. When opponents are playing right around the edge of Shang-Chi, or they have the armor to be able to prevent Shang-Chi from taking them down, Valkyrie will still take them down. She does still get blocked by the Cosmo. Cosmo remains the king control card, bar none. But Valkyrie here is going to be very spicy. I'm really excited to see how she can slot in. And then we have Super Scroll, 4/2, meaning that you can play him in the mid-game ongoing. He's going to be such a mess. Has the ongoing effects of all enemy cards. Wow. So your opponent is actually going to have a better understanding of what your card is going to be able to do than you will. He's going to be hilarious. I don't think he's going to be good. There's so many. Ongoing is a very mixed bag of negative effects and beneficial effects. He could just randomly be out there, and then suddenly the opponent plays Professor X, and then Super Scroll is also locking down his location, whether you wanted to or not. He is going to be just all over the place, and right now, the more popular use of a lot of ongoing effects is all these cheap ones that then get buffed by the Spectrum, or are simply locking down locations for a big destroyer play at the end. And Super Scroll is not going to help you counter any of this. It's also not going to help you hang in there with any of those ongoing destroyer lists. He's just going to kind of do a couple random things.
Girl.
Oh man, I feel the way Ben Bro does. We have so much theory crafting to look at. These cards are really exciting.
A lot of new cards, should be a lot of fun. The Token Shop is a great way to get the cards you want. We're super excited that we want to celebrate it with a super special surprise. Everyone who's got at least 500 collection level will get 3,000 tokens. And if you're higher level on the collection track, you'll get even more because you missed some as you're on your way up to that higher
Okay, the exact breakdown is, as he said, the 500 to 999 level is 3,000 tokens, 1,000 to 3,000 is 6,000 tokens, 3,000 plus is going to be 12,000 tokens. So this is how they're going to get you jump started to be able to interact with this new feature from day one. I'm glad that they're giving us this start, but it also, you have to compare immediately to prices to see how far these are going to get you. A Series 3 card is going to be 1,000 tokens. A Series 4 card, the Ultra Rare, is going to be 3,000 tokens. And then the Series 5, the rarest, is going to be 6,000 tokens. So if you want to have Thanos and Galactus, you're going to have to spend all of the tokens that they're starting you with and be already at collection level 3,000 plus.
Collection level. It's enough tokens to buy several Series 3 cards that you don't have already. I hope you find your new favorite card.
The Community
Hey everyone,
Spotlight.
I'm here with Community Manager Richie. We just announced a ton of new cards. Richie, what do you think of the new stuff?
Man, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see all the reactions from players in Discord, coming up with wacky, crazy decks and combos. It's gonna be nuts. I just cannot wait for December.
I see some other incredible ink on this guy's arm. Maybe slightly different franchise.
I was really interested.
A franchise that, dare I say it, deserves a card game equally as incredible as Marvel
In hearing
Snap.
from the #1 Marvel Snap player, KMBest, who's actually here to chat with us a little bit. So hey man, how's it going? How are you feeling?
It's going great. I'm feeling great. I have been streaming Marvel Snap every day since the release, and I have enjoyed every minute of it.
We've walked through a whole bunch of new cards for Series 4 and Series 5. Which card are you looking forward to the most?
A lot of my content tends to be focused around, you know, trying really hard to win games, playing the best and most optimal things that you can. I will tell you, I will break with that for this. Because the card I am most excited for is Thanos. I want to make him work. I don't know if he actually will. It seems like putting an extra 6 cards in your deck makes your whole deck a lot less consistent, even if some of those cards draw other cards. I worry that he'll clog up the board. All of these things are reasonable things to worry about. That said, he's too cool for me to not immediately target. I want to play with Thanos. That's what I want to do.
Thank you so much for your time, KMBest. Your insight's so interesting to me. Everybody needs to follow you on Twitter and Twitch and steal your decks like I do. Also, be sure to join us in Discord and let's keep the conversation going about Marvel Snap.
I think Thanos is going to be playable. I don't know if he's going to be top of the meta. I don't know if they want him to be top of the meta. But all of these cheap little one-drops that are potentially giving you card draw, it pairs very well with Khazar. It is vulnerable to things like, I feel like it's going to be its own take on a zoo list, effectively is how it's going to play out.
We just talked about a ton of new stuff. The Power Cosmic season with the Silver Surfer. We've got the Token Shop, Series 4 and 5, the most new cards we've ever released. Thank you so much to our guests, Johnny, Richie, KMBest. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you online.
Okay, now for the nitty gritty and how to prepare for this update. Okay, preparing for this update. This is a huge advancement. We're going to be able to add new cards in, very powerful, ultra rare cards. How are you going to be able to balance this new economy? Let's break things down. First, the most important question, how do you get collector tokens? They are replacing boosters in the collector caches and reserves, and the collector caches and reserves will have a 25% chance to drop 100 tokens each. If we bounce over, the Discord has in their general section a breakdown on the old caches. Here we see that they're actually bringing in a lot of changes into how the caches are structured. We previously had a 20% chance of grabbing boosters out of a collector's cache, and then we had a 20% chance out of the reserve as well. They're increasing this to a 25% chance for 100 tokens, meaning that these other values are all getting shifted around. They haven't posted the official breakdown yet, but they have said that what they are primarily reducing is credits. We don't know the exact distribution of the credits if they're taking the 5% split between the two. They're leaving the card chances relatively the same. I say relatively because the new series cards are getting added in as additional chances. So things are getting shuffled down a lot, actually. Okay, based on what we have been told, I am predicting this as the new drop rates. The devs have said that they wanted to cut down your chances of credits because this is the least interesting part of a collector's cache. They want to give you new things opening the collector cache, not just more of what you paid to be able to open it. Giving people rebates is just not that exciting. So the credits are going down. We have this minuscule edition of the Series 4 and Series 5. This is what I really want to talk about. The drop rate of Series 4 is 10 times less than Series 3, and the drop rate of Series 5 is 10 times less than Series 4. So you have a 2.5% chance of pulling a Series 4 card. You have a 0.25% chance of pulling a Series 5. That's 1 in 400 caches to be able to get Series 5. So really, you're not getting these cards through the basic caches. You are getting them through that collector shop. Though, there is a pity rule, as we remember, for Series 3. You're guaranteed... Okay, you are guaranteed a Series 3 at 10 openings, and they have posted that you're guaranteed Series 4 at 40 openings to also be in line here. Now, Series 5, there's no mention about a pity rule. If there's a guarantee at 400, I don't think they're actually going to do that. I think they're going to leave Series 5 as the true white whales out there for you to chase after. Next, should you be hoarding credits and gold to be prepared for the update? Well, yes and no. I was initially concerned that the update was going to make the tokens a new premium item, that you could buy gold and that you could also directly purchase tokens, or you could potentially purchase tokens directly with gold. This is not the case. I put a post in the FAQ, they got back to me immediately. Tokens are not available in the shop normally. However, they may be included in future bundles. So right now, the only way that you are getting your tokens is the startup amount that they give you based on your collection level, and then opening them in caches. If you store up a lot of caches right now and then you open them after the update, those caches will not contain any credits. The caches determine their contents when you unlock them, not when you open them, if that makes sense. So because if you spend credits now and just have a cache but don't open it, it is still already decided what it's going to give you based on the current update. So it's better to hoard credits right now to be able to then, and gold also, if you want to make a burst onto opening these new caches that have the chance of the tokens to be able to collect a couple more advanced cards out of the token shop. Okay, now a couple popcorn updates from the FAQ of a number of dev clarifications before we keep on talking about preparing for this. The collection tokens, you have a 25% base chance of getting the 100 tokens, but once you have every single Series 3 card, then you have an extra 22% chance of getting 400 tokens. Interesting little implementation there, that if you have the full collection, you'll be getting a lot more currency to fuel you into Series 4 and Series 5. When is the patch coming out? Soon, TM. This is the little joke on the Discord. The devs are not marrying themselves to a specific date. They normally release within a 72-hour window of the season resetting, but of course we cannot say for sure. Ultimate variants have not been covered very much by the developers in what they have released so far, but are also going to be appearing in your shop. There's only 2 at the start, but more to come. We're getting a Fantasy Ghost Rider and an MCU Namor. We don't know exactly what these look like. Maybe they actually have been data mined, I'm not sure. It's exciting to see some interesting variants, but I think that I am most interested for the shop just to be able to collect new cards. Before we break down our plan of how you can get the most out of this update from any collection level, wherever your account is, we're going to break it down. But we have one more thing that we have to cover, and that's that they now have a migration plan of taking cards from Premium to Series 5 to Series 4 to Series 3. They're saying here, when we release new cards or when Season Pass cards are no longer available in their Season Pass, they'll be temporarily added to Series 5. Then they're saying that some cards will drop from Series 5 to 4 and some will drop from Series 4 to 3. The goal is that they don't just want to inflate or bloat these more advanced series, and then that's going to make it harder for new players joining, say, years from now to be able to ever catch up. So they have this as a mechanic to help people who join in still be able to feel like they can build a solid collection to compete with what everybody else has. And it means that if you aren't sure you want to spend the full token price on a Series 5 card, you can wait until it gets cheaper. They're not sure of the exact details or the timing of this migration, but overall they've expressed that the goal is that cards generally take months, not years, to move down the series. So the exclusivity around the new cards will be there, but will be there temporarily. So I'm happy to see this plan. I wish that we had them nailing down exactly how many months things would progress. It could be that, you know, Thanos and Galactus are good. They want to have Hallmark cards for the different series. I see Thanos and Galactus always being Series 5, and maybe some cards always being Series 4 out of what they have initially released here, but then just the general Battle Pass cards likely following a very consistent progression down into Series 3. Okay, now to cover our plan. This is how you can get the most out of the update. Whatever collection level you're at, be able to start kickstarting your collection through this new update. So we have 2 different starting points that we need to evaluate on if you want to hoard credits or if you want to spend now to be able to be in a better position as soon as the update drops. And this is because they're giving us this huge gift to get you started. So if you are right around being able to level up into the higher gift level, do so. These increases are tremendous because normally you only have a 25% chance of getting 100 tokens out of a cache. So if you are within 100 levels of being able to breach the next level of gift, go for it. So what you want to keep in mind here is that it costs 50 credits to be able to increase 1 collection level. So if you have your stockpile cache of 5,000 credits, then you'll be able to advance 100 levels. If you're towards the middle or beginning of any of these tiers, then stop opening and stop buying caches. Just hoard your resources and then wait for the update to drop to be able to spend everything and try and open as many caches as possible then to give yourself the tokens to start opening stuff out of the new shop. We'll say this once again, if you're close to a bigger token reward, grind to the next reward. Make sure to pace yourself that you're actually going to be able to make it. If it's impossible to get to the higher reward, then stockpile your credits and gold pre-update. Then our update drops at an undisclosed time in the near future, and then open as many caches as possible. Now, once you have your tokens, how do you want to start spending them? Because everybody initially wanted to spend them to be able to grab key cards out of Series 3, but suddenly they've given us an even juicier carrot at the end of the stick that is Series 4 and Series 5, the Thanos, the Galactus, these new ultra rare cards that potentially nobody else has or very, very few members of the community are going to have. Do you want to stockpile all of your tokens to be able to get those? No. If you are still completing Series 3, I highly recommend you spend your tokens on getting your key cards. This is going to help you immediately in terms of your climb, in terms of the competitiveness of your decks, but it's also just going to accelerate the rate at which you finish Series 3. And as the developers have told us, when you finish, you have the entire Series 3 collection, then you have an extra 22% chance in the caches of opening 400 tokens, meaning that they're going to give you way more tokens once you finish Series 3. And because these Series 4 and Series 5 cards are so much more expensive, it will slow you down a lot if you try and collect these. Obviously, if there's a key character, get him. If you find Thanos just early, you're incredibly lucky, and if you really want him, save and get him. Like, I encourage you to do that. Don't do this to the detriment of your own fun and finding the characters that you like. But don't feel bad just picking up Series 3 cards, because that's going to accelerate your progression of getting tokens and then being able to, with the higher number of tokens, you're improving your economy. Like you're in a real-time strategy game. And then with that improved economy, you're able to increase the rate at which you collect the more expensive cards. Also, if you wait a little while, these more expensive cards are going to get cheaper, based on just what they've said about migrating them down. So that's my advice. If you have not yet finished Series 3, complete Series 3 with your tokens. If you have finished Series 3, then here are my priority new cards, giving you guys a little bit of a shopping list here. Here is my personal priority on the new cards that have been released, the order that I would love to be able to collect them in. Luke Cage, personal top pick for me, making my hazmat list that much better. I have loved that list for so long that I can't wait to be able to play with new toys on it. I'm very interested in Bast, especially in the Mr. Negative. I'm also a Mr. Negative enjoyer. He's been nerfed very heavily, but he's been at the top before. Bast might bring him back there, so I definitely want to be testing her. Thanos and Galactus, of course, these guys, they're chase cards. Now, you're going to have to remember that in the shop, you're receiving the cards are going to cycle through randomly, so you might not be able to see them in this order. But also, if you have completed Series 3, they rotate through all of the cards in progression, and because there's only a couple cards in Series 4 and 5, you're going to be able to see them pretty consistently to be able to grab them in the order that you really want. So we have the Thanos, the Galactus, the Absorbing Man is next. I love the on-reveal archetypes. I'm just worried that Cosmo is going to shut him down before he has a chance to shine, because Cosmo is so popular right now. She-Hulk, I think, is going to be a very efficient play, can fit into a number of different lists, can't wait to be able to test her out. Valkyrie, also with the Bast, synergizing with the Cerebro list that I want to play some more of. I think Valkyrie is going to be a powerful control card. And then the Shuri also playing with the Absorbing Man, making that on-reveal list a little bit more consistent, and it's already a solid list. So that gives us a total package of 39,000 tokens to spend. I really think that the other cards are on a significantly lower priority level. Obviously, if you see something that you really want to play around with, maybe you've thought of a combo that I potentially haven't, let me know down in the comments. Let the theory crafting abound. What do you think of this ranking? Would you put cards potentially in a different order? Would you put another card that I didn't mention as a higher pick because of something I didn't think about? I would love to hear it. Consider subscribing to the channel. Our next project is going to be a video focused for the players at the beginning and middle of Series 3. It's going to be a buyer's guide on the key cards to try and pin and pick out of the token shop so that you can spend this new fairly exclusive currency to the best of your efficiency. I am incredibly excited for the future of Marvel Snap here. Till next time, thank you guys for watching and keep on snapping.